Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yes. January 1st, 2023. As I record this episode, and this should be out by that same night. I'll try to have this episode 458 out by then. The Knicks finish off 2022 on a good note. Last night, defeating the Houston Rockets and completing their Texas Triangle trip, as they call it, with the win, So we'll talk about that. We'll also hand out our progress reports later in the show. Episode 458 of BD4. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I'm your host, RJ. Let's get to the podcast. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya!
Anthony for three, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied! Time!
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
All right, welcome to the show. What's going on, everyone? Happy New Year. Hope you're all having a good one. I'm sure that maybe you are on your way to the gym right now and listening to this episode. All right, let's talk Knicks. Let's not waste time. But yeah, of course, I'm thankful for everything, and I hope the new year is as good as the last one was. As far as the Knicks go, we finish off the first portion of the 2022-23 season on a good note, defeating the Houston Rockets last night in Houston, Texas. The game, got off to a slow start for the Knicks. Now, I missed this game. I had some family over. We had company for New Year's Eve. We were also watching some of the college games, which were very good. The Michigan game and the Ohio State-Georgia game were also good. But I did see the highlights. I did read about it, and so we're going to run through this, and then we'll talk about the progress reports that we're going to hand out for the 2-month marking period. Last night, they got out to a slow start, the Knicks did, against the terrible 15th place, last place Rockets. They were scorching from three early. I think the Rockets knocked down 8 in the first quarter alone on 67%. You had guys like Green, Smith Jr., Kmart Jr., Porter Jr., Porter. They have a couple of juniors, but there is a Porter Jr. in the NBA. I think he's with Denver. But, a lot of their guys were knocking down the three. The Rockets doubling the Knicks on the defensive glass. And, the Knicks finally found a rhythm. They, locked up, and they soon found a rhythm, and they got it done. Randle led the way with 35 points. Quickley and Grimes combined for 46 points. Got a little too close again in the fourth quarter, though. The Rockets make a run. They come within 8 or 9 points. But the Knicks do get big contributions from a lot of guys in the final frame. Quickley led the way in the fourth with a number of buckets. You had the Fournier triple. Grimes, Randle were doing their parts. Mitch and Sims were working the glass. And the Knicks would eventually pull away by 20 points to get the victory. So they get the, 108 to 88 victory, I believe. Yeah. They finally end that 5-game skid. Thank God. And they go into the new year on a good note. I thought the Knicks defense was the first thing I to take away from this game. Got back on track. I thought they did a nice job maybe reading the scouting report and just knowing that the Rockets are a very young team and they can get careless with the ball. I think they lead the league in turnovers. So the Knicks... Oops. Sorry for that pause there. I thought we lost it. My battery's low, so the screen flashed, and I had to plug the charger in. The Knicks, saw that the Rockets are a turnover-prone team, so what they did was they pressured the ball, and they forced 24 turnovers and scored 37 points off of it. So, pressuring the ball all night, anticipating the pass, jumping the lanes. But yeah, this was a big game from another big game from Julius Randle, who gets the first game ball of the night.
Bing bang.
And 35 points for Julius last night, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 9 of 20 from the field, 5 of 13 from 3, and 12 of 16 at the line. Yeah, he was hot from 3, and he did a nice job getting to the stripe. So of his 35 points, that would mean only 8 of them came on 2-point field goals. So he was, very modern last night, right? Playing a very modernized game. I'm sorry, I'm recording this in the middle of the day, and I live in a house of, I got a family of 7, and all you fucking hear all the time, constantly, is just stomping. The studio is downstairs. All you hear is stomping. It's just distracting. No, he's definitely stepped it up. Without Jalen Brunson, without RJ Barrett, the Knicks aren't exactly in depth right now, and so they needed Julius, and his numbers right now are very good, and they're not empty statistics. He's been stepping up in meaningful moments, and he's the only consistent offensive weapon out there right now, right? So you got to give him his props for last night. Again, Julius, a big night, and then also a good night from Emmanuel Quickley. Quickley has played well in Brunson's spot, filling in at point guard. Last night, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, stole it 3 times, shot 9 of 25 overall, 4 for 13 from 3, and 5 of 6 at the free throw stripe. Got off to a slow start, Quickley did for sure. Some bad shooting in there. I thought he missed some reads as the primary playmaker, but he did find it in the second half, and he got the job done. The shot began to fall, the rebounding, the defense, the passing, the shooting, and I thought he was getting into the paint pretty well too. He finished shooting only 9 of 25 overall, yes, but in the second half he did score 17 on 6 of 14 shooting and knocked down 3 of 7 from 3. He came out the gate very strong in the third quarter with back-to-back baskets to help the Knicks gain that separation because they went into halftime only up maybe 4 points. So I thought Quickley was good. Quentin Grimes was also good. He scores 19 points last night on 8 of 15. Big third quarter from Grimes where he dropped 7 points on 100%. He gets hot towards the end there. And to me, that was kind of where the Knicks started to pull away. It was right around the end of that period where Grimes started to take off and stretch that single-figure lead into double figures. So he was knocking down the three-pointer, and he also got into the paint. He got into the paint a lot last night, which I always like to see from Grimes because he does that well, and that doesn't get enough recognition with his ability to slash and get into the paint, whether it's in transition or in the half court, on the ball, off the ball. He does a nice job. So, that was pretty much it from the starters. Mitch also had a nice game, bounced back. But the bench, once again, not much offensively from them. Derrick Rose did have his moments when he did play. Fournier, same thing, couple of 3 balls. Deuce McBride kind of gave you vomit offensively. He shot, I want to say 1 of 10, something like that. I mean, you like the aggressiveness, right? We always talk about wanting to see him be aggressive, but I just wish he was something offensively and not just another Frank 2.0. I know Knicks fans are going to get mad at me for that, but they think everybody's a superstar, right? Just ask what they did with Frank. Hartenstein also gave you 0 offensively. He did get some rebounds. He grabbed a few. But I think the best off the bench last night. And again, this is me not watching the game from quarter to quarter. I missed one of the rare games I missed. But I think, from what I did see, watching back some highlights and recaps, Jericho Sims. And I think I'm going to give Jericho Sims his 3rd Bing Bong ball of the season.
Bing bang.
Sims last night was good. He was Sims. 4 points, 7 rebounds in 9 minutes. So that's relatively a very productive night. Big rebounding in the second quarter where the Knicks were down and needed some stops. Helped them get into some transition opportunities. And then he had a few boards in the fourth quarter on the offensive glass. Also had an alley-oop in there off that Fournier down screen. Comes off it, quickly throws the dime. And he also had himself a nice, strong putback layup in the first half off of a Fournier miss. But there's not much to take from this game, man. So all in all, nice win, but it really doesn't do much for me. I just think the Knicks are who I've been saying since preseason. It's nice to end this skid heading into the new year, though, for sure. But not much to take away. What do you say we just run through these progress reports real quick, and then we'll wrap this one up, right? So, we'll just do some quick hitters, and then we'll wrap this shit up. Because, again, there's not much. So we're going to run through, if you're new to these, we do a progress report every month on every individual player currently in the rotation. Or, we will miss a player or two who don't really get minutes. Like, we're probably not going to run through Fournier, Cam Reddish, because they don't play. But what we do is we grade each and every individual who do play. And the important part to know that is the way we do this, each of these guys get a grade based off their own expectation. So not everybody is going to be graded on the same scale. So because, player 1 gets an A and then player 2 will get a B-, it doesn't exactly mean that player 1 has been better than player 2 overall. It just means that player 1 has lived up to his standard more than player 2 has. That makes sense? So just keep that in mind before you come at me with pitchforks, all right? But we'll start with Jalen Brunson. And again, we're going to run through this, I'm telling you. Jalen Brunson, who's been averaging 23-7 this season on 46% from the field. Doing a nice job. He's a guy who has really, really steadied the ship for the Knicks. Finally found themselves a stable point guard. He's their leader. He's their closer. Without him, they are under 500 for sure. And he's just providing them that calm presence. He works great with the guys around him, gets everyone involved, doesn't play favorites at quarterback. He's been good. He's been so good. So I give him an A-. There's not much I can complain about with Jalen Brunson. He's durable. He's tough. Plays into the paint around all those bigs and takes all these hits. And he's playing almost every game. Obviously, lately he's got the hip problem. But, yeah, I got to give him an A-. The only bad thing is maybe the defense isn't great. He's an automatic mismatch. Sometimes he can get lost backdoor and have his back the other way. But I can't nitpick with Brunson. He's been their best player this year, far and away. So, Jalen Brunson, I give an A-. We go to R.J. Barrett. I'm going to give him a B-. He's averaging 26-3 43% from the field, 33% from three, 76% from the line. Those are all pretty average. He's inconsistent. He's having an okay year. We keep wanting him to break out. I don't know that that's going to happen. I just think at this point, RJ is who he is. He struggles with the jumper. At times, he'll struggle finishing. He's inconsistent, right? He's a volume scorer who's not always going to knock down his shots. His defense isn't the greatest, but I think all in all, RJ's been good. I think he's been good. So I give him a B-. Quentin Grimes, I give him a B. I think Grimes has been good. 10 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, shooting 37% from 3. He's a 3-and-D sniper, can catch and shoot, can play off the dribble a little bit. Obviously, he's a great defensive player at the wing. He dealt with injuries earlier in the year, but I think the one big knock on Grimes is maybe that he's not the most consistent player. He'll drop 30 some nights. The very next night, he'll go back out there and give you 9 points or less. Right. That's, he's got to work on that. But I think Grimes has been good given his role. I think he's been solid, so I give him a B. Julius Randle has, much like Brunson has been far and away the best player, Randle has far and away been the second best player on this roster. 24, 10, and 4. He's shooting 47%. He's got the 3-ball up to a respectable 35%. So I give him a B+. He's bounced back this season. The defense is not great. It's never going to be great. But he does a lot for this team outside the defense. When he's locked in, he's very good. And on most nights, he's pretty good. So, now that he has a point guard, I think we're seeing less responsibility on the ball. Is Randle going to be my favorite player? No. That's never going to happen. I'm not his biggest fan. We all know that, but I have to give the guy credit when he deserves it. And I'm stingy. I'm not going to hand out A's left and right, but I would understand. I'm gonna give him a B+. And we go to center. Mitch Robinson, I give him a B+. I think Mitch has been very good, given his expectation. He's playing defense. He's killing it on the offensive glass. He's never going to be a guy who scores points. Let's call a spade a spade. So given what we expect from Mitch, I think he's done a very nice job. I wish he'd score more, but at this point, I think he is who he is. So Mitch Robinson, at 8 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks, and a steal. I'm going to give him a B+. He's got a very strong 4.2 plus minus on the year. So, pretty good. And then we go to the bench. Emmanuel Quickley, having a good year. This is probably his best career season. 3-point numbers aren't great, but everything else is there. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. A steal, just 1 turnover. He's always been efficient that way. When he's got to step up as the primary playmaker, he has his moments. Obviously, shot selection could be a problem. But he scores points. He's playing good defense. Quickly gets a B. Deuce McBride. B-. I think McBride's point of attack defense is great. He's disciplined defensively. Hedging. Recovering after making a stunt. Very smart. Very pesky out there. But he doesn't give you offense. I know, again, this is relative, so I'm still going to give him a B-. And then Jericho Sims. 29 games this year. He's averaging 4 boards across 12 minutes. The numbers aren't crazy, but he does play great defense. He's a good screener, probably the best screener on the team. He's athletic as hell. The guy can leap, and that's important on the offensive glass as well. So I think Sims should play over Hartenstein. We all know my opinion there, but I'm going to give Sims a B on the year. so far. Speaking of Hartenstein, we all know I'm not the biggest fan of him. 37 games in, he's averaging 6, 7, and 1 with a steal and a block across 20 minutes per game. He's played in every game, I believe. I'm going to give him a C- just because he's had some moments offensively. I'll throw the floater in there. Once a week he'll knock down a 3. But the defense is just not there for me. It's not enough. I don't think he's that great a rebounder. There are games where he has a lot of boards, but there are games where he looks incredibly soft out there, depending on the matchup. But I think Hartenstein is not that good. He's kind of like a Walmart version of Cantor, where the numbers aren't gonna do him justice in the way that they're better than they look, because the defense is so bad. He's slow, he can't defend a pick and roll, can't guard in space, and he can't really block the rim well. So, not a fan of him. I wish he didn't play, but I prefer the 2 big man rotation. I don't like when we go Twin Towers, but Obi Toppin, give him a C+. Obi had a really, really, really strong start to the year. Then he kind of disappeared for a 2 or 3 week span before he went down with the big injury. Overall, he's given you 8 points across 17 minutes. He's shooting the 3 better, but that started to come down to earth. The defense is not great, but his help defense has improved this year. His rebounding is still not great. I don't know. He's been okay. I've kind of slowly but surely kind of fallen off the Obi train. I think he's an okay role player. So a C+. And then last but not least, Derrick Rose. I don't think he's been good this year. He gets a C-. 6 points, 2 boards, 2 assists across 13 minutes. He's noticeably slower out there. The defense is not there anymore. The 3-point shot's not falling like it was when he first came here. Yeah, I think he's on his way out. And then last but not least, we're going to grade the Knicks as a unit. Again, 19 wins, 18 losses. It's a .514 win percentage. They're the number 8 seed at the moment. That's a play-in spot. They're 1 game back from the number 6 seed. The Heat are the 7th, but they have the same record as us. So, given what our goal is this year, to me the goal is to just try to win as much as we can given what we have. And it's also to attract other GMs to make a deal and hopefully strike when that superstar becomes available. But how do you do that? You win games and, make trades, raise trade value. So I don't know. I think they've done okay. I'm in a good mood, so I gave them a B-. I could have easily done a C+, but they're 19 and 18. It's they're gonna have peaks and valleys. So B- for the Knicks. I just don't think they're that good. That's it, guys. We'll head to break, and we'll wrap this up with the question of the day. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, guys. So if you are a listener of the podcast often, and you want to know where to find me on social media, you can find me on Facebook at BD4. You can find me on Twitter at BD4Pod. And you can also find me on Instagram at Rob J. Carbone. BD4 is located on many different platforms. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and if you do there, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review. You can listen to it on Spotify, but you can also watch the podcast on both Spotify and YouTube. BD4 is available on many other platforms as well. All you got to do is search it up. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and much more. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. Alright, so for this episode 458, our NYY-NYK-MMA question of the day is... it's a true or false question. True or false? In 63 playoff games as Knicks head coach, Pat Riley won less than half, 32 of them. True or false? In 63 playoff games as Knicks head coach, Pat Riley won less than half of them, 32 games, that means. Alright, so one final time. Our trivia question of this episode. True or false? In 63 playoff games as Knicks head coach, Pat Riley won less than half of them. And again, by half of them, I mean at least 32, or at most 32. Is that true or false? That's it. That's totally it. Not much to take from this episode. Just ran through that Rockets game. Did our quick progress report run through, and hopefully we've got more to talk about tomorrow night. So, later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.